Who are his numbers sort of similar to this year? Well, how about a fella by the name of Patrick Mahomes? Both teams are 5-1. They're the only quarterbacks to post a QBR of at least 50 in 6 games this season. Look, I'm old enough to remember when Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes played one of these legendary games, right? Remember when he was running that high-flying offense in Los Angeles?
Yep.
People talk about Jared Goff like he's a scrub, like he came out of nowhere. He was the first pick in the draft for a reason. I get it. Things fell apart in L.A. for whatever reason. People are talking about him like this is a surprise. I don't think it is nearly as much of a surprise as people are acting like it is. And that team, top to bottom, all of the talent they have, all the skill position players with the addition of Jameson Williams now, the running backs, the defense, the attitude, they're tough on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Dan, the Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFL, and that includes everyone.
The Detroit Lions are a very good football team. The number 4 matters the most for me when it comes to Jared Goff.
Which is?
He has quarterbacked 4 top 5 offenses in 7 years.
Yeah.
And every time it happens, people want to just credit someone else. Oh, it's Sean McVay, or it's Todd Gurley, or it's Dan. Maybe, just maybe, the kid's a really good player. Like maybe Jared Goff is just a really good quarterback, and we're seeing it for the 4th time in 7 seasons.
Yeah, in fact, if you go back, before I give it to you guys and you can take it, let me just show you the numbers going back to last season, Cindy. The one other screen I wanted to show everybody, because this is not coming out of nowhere. If you look at his last 17 games, they got off to a collective slow start last year. Their defense was historically bad. His last 17 games, which is the equivalent of 1 full season, 29-4 touchdown to interception, 67% completions. Lions are 13-4 in that stretch. D-Wood, talk to me.
He's playing about as good a quarterback play as any other quarterback in the National Football League. Like we're not even. It just seems like people aren't even mentioning him with Tua and other Patrick Mahomes and I get it. Patrick Mahomes is a superstar quarterback. But there's not hardly any quarterbacks in this league that's playing the quarterback position better than Jared Goff is right now.
So I would say the Detroit Lions are a legit contender because of Jared Goff and how he's playing. I think at some point we have to allow players and teams to shed the label that have been assigned to them, right? Like the same old Jets. Like the Cleveland Browns, to me, have the best defense in the NFL. But a lot of people haven't been paying attention because they're in Cleveland. Same thing with the Lions. It's like, oh, well, the Lions have been perennially terrible. Is Jared Goff. And here's part of the reason people don't believe in Jared Goff is his own head coach shipped him to Detroit because they're like, we can't win with him.
Literally
was like, okay, bye. Now, it worked out for the Rams, but that's part of what the narrative around Jared Goff, and the numbers are literally saying that narrative is not true. People have to start paying attention.
I think also because it doesn't look sexy, right? When you see Patrick Mahomes do it, when you see, well, that's what I'm saying, but we know he's going to get the job done, and for me, it's the way he is in the pocket. Like that throw he threw on that basic route last game to
the no-looker?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Against Kansas City, standing in the pocket, taking punishment, still delivering the football. It's been phenomenal for Jared Goff.
And it's not just him. They're great on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Their coach is both a Neanderthal and has a computer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, look at their schedule. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. They will be the 1 seed in the NFC.
Best inside linebacker in football this year is Fred Warner, then probably Roquan Smith. You know who's probably 3rd? Alex Anzalone. You know who he plays for? Detroit Lions.
They're that good, folks. Can he get to 2,000 yards this season, Danny?
Oh, absolutely. He can get to 2,000. I expect him to. The way that this offense is operating, that and the way that Tua's playing and his health. And I think for the majority of this season, they're going to be playing for the number 1 seed. So they'll be in every game, and it's going to matter that performance.
If he gets 2,000 yards, can he be the league MVP? The quarterback has won MVP 10 consecutive years. Could Tyreek Hill be the MVP of the league? Kmart.
It's hard. I hate saying it, but I think his own quarterback undercuts his argument. I think a lot of people will point to it. It is a QB award. Now, if we're going to talk about non-QBs, he has a good case. I personally wouldn't pick him. There's another guy that I would pick.
Okay, well then let's do that then. Let's make this fun. let's say if you took the quarterbacks out of the equation, who would you vote for MVP? We actually asked that question to the entire group, and let's see what we think. Do we have any Tyreek Hills? Does anyone think Tyreek Hill would be the MVP of the league if it was not?
Oh, the wide
we got one
receiver.
right over here. No wide receiver has ever won the award, although Randy Moss should have won it, in my opinion, the year that he was in New England.
And I would say this, if Tyreek Hill is able to eclipse 2,000 yards, it'll be the first time a wide receiver in the regular season has been able to do that. He would break Calvin Johnson's record. Shout out to Calvin, south side of Atlanta, baby.
No doubt.
High school. So I would think Tyreek Hill would have to win MVP if he's able to get, 2,000 yards and they have a number 1 or 2 seed in the AFC.
Orlovsky, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did they misunderstand you? Did you mean to put Travis Kelce underneath your face there, or did you mean to put Jason Kelce?
No, my answer is Jason, because if we want to have a real football conversation, then it has to be about the line of scrimmage. If we want to have a real football conversation, it goes to the most valuable offensive lineman in football. Wood, I don't all that disagree with your selection about screen. Here's the reality about Jason Kelce. Number 1, 145 straight games that he started. That's an Eagles record. Number 2, take your eyes back to San Francisco last year in the NFC title game and the way that they dominated at the line of scrimmage. This is the best run football team in football. It's been 4 times since he became their starter. They've taken 3 quarterbacks in Philadelphia and made them play like MVP starters, football, Super Bowl. Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, and Jalen Hurts. That's not by mistake, okay? You don't get lucky into that. If we're having a real football conversation, it's Jason Kelce. If we're having the glitz and glamour,
sell it, Dio. Sell it.
If we're having the glitz and glamour, like sexy conversation, then it's a wide receiver.
Sell it, Dio.
But if we're talking about ball, real ball, it's going to be Jason Kelce.
Oh, you're in my realm now, baby. You are in my realm now, baby. I'm going Lane Johnson. Listen, Lane Johnson hasn't given up a sack since Biden has been in office. Like that's how long he is. Like he has not given up a sack here. And listen, I think the best illustration was last week in the Jets game. In the Jets game. When Lane Johnson went out,
what happened?
All hell started breaking loose up front on the offensive line. So, man, shout out to Lane Johnson, man. That's my guy.
We're not saying best player, right? Most valuable. Most valuable.
I'm glad you said that, so we can have a real football conversation, because the real valuable asset to the San Francisco 49ers is Christian McCaffrey. Not only does he lead the NFL in rushing, he has more catches, y'all.
Yeah.
Than DK Metcalf. Like, that's wild. Like, how, and when you think about CMC, you think about since he was traded to this team, they had won 15 in a row, regular season games. Their win streak coincides with him arriving. I know Brock Purdy had been perfect up until facing the Browns, but Christian, that team goes as he goes. So with him having this oblique rib injury, we're going to see if he plays this week and how this offense could look different if he is not on the field.
They play Minnesota on Monday night. By the way, he is the favorite amongst non-quarterbacks to win MVP. Cindy, we can put them up there. These are the odds on players who aren't quarterbacks to win MVP. And I would say, well, that was mine. As I looked at yours all come up on the screen, I thought to myself, in this year of defense, where defenses are dominating in the NFL in a way that, frankly, the rules dictate they shouldn't be able to, I would vote for T.J. Watt.
I'm surprised that Myles Garrett isn't up there, though. I'm surprised that Myles Garrett isn't up there.
Pittsburgh has 2 wins because of Alec Highsmith and also T.J. Watt right now versus divisional opponents. So that's a good choice. And he's tied right now with sacks with my man with the Vikings.
Danielle Hunter?
Yep.
Here's my question when it comes to this stuff. Is Miami still a really good offense if Tyreek Hill is not there and they have another good wide receiver? Yes. Okay, is San Francisco one of the best teams in the NFL if they just have a good back and not Christian McCaffrey? Absolutely. Are the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl contenders if they don't have Kelce? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I don't think the Miami Dolphins are Super Bowl contenders if Tyreek Hill's not there.
But I'm not saying to drop off from Tyreek Hill to like me playing wide receiver. But if they went Tyreek Hill to another just good wide receiver,
we literally.
I'm just saying. Out of your scenario, we literally saw my scenario play itself out in a game.
I don't have
what happened.
I don't have a
Listen, I love offensive linemen outside of receivers are my favorite group on the football field. Really, big guys need loving too. But
they have a play they can't. The NFL defenses cannot stop and are trying to get rid of because of Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts. They have a play that defenses are trying to say, do we need to ban this play because it's unfair?
I'm glad you took it there. No one has figured out my pick, Tyreek Hill, yet in the National Football League.
All right, so obviously you can see there were disagreements, and if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that I'm right. TJ Watt is actually the right answer to this question. In the meantime,